JBN, we keep you informed. Father killed over empty bottles. Dennis Brown Sr. lay unresponsive in the lap of his youngest son while he was being transported to the University Hospital of the West Indies on Tuesday evening. Moments later, the 48-year-old Tyler of Grantspen was dead. Brown Sr. was allegedly killed by another son who stabbed him repeatedly in a fit of rage over the unauthorized sale of empty bottles. Residents of the Northeast St. Andrew community recounted the horror that visited the Oddman Lane home where Brown Sr. watched as this 24-year-old attacker used a knife to inflict multiple stab wounds to his body. Not even the intervention of a respected neighbor could cool the temper of the accused, who allegedly used the ratchet knife to stab Brown Sr. twice in the chest. The father ran out and the son ran out after him. Right in front of him, stab him. The resident, who requested not to be named out of security concerns, said, "The first time him stab him, me hold on pan him and pull him off. When me pull him up, him turn pan me with the knife. So me have to let him go and him stab him again." The Grantspen police said that the incident occurred about 7 p.m. The accused reportedly turned himself in shortly after the incident, the murder weapon allegedly in his hand. A younger brother, aged 17, reportedly witnessed the incident and ran for his life during the melee. After him stab Dennis, him start run after him little brother. And so me ask him to pass me my phone and me take it up and call the police, a neighbor said. Residents said that the accused was often a loner and had a history of disputes over Brown Sr.'s bottles. The first time it happened, a machete draw, a resident said, recounting a previous row over allegations of bottle theft in January. One neighbor said that Brown Sr. would normally rely on selling bottles when tiling jobs dried up. Him father work is seasonal. It's was like how nobody let nobody in them house and so forth, the resident said, referring to hygiene sensitivities related to the new coronavirus. The police communications arm confirmed the reports and informed that a probe was underway. The St. Andrew North Police are investigating. Vendor killed in bus crash dreamt of building her own home one day. As 44-year-old vendor Elita Brown hurriedly pushed her cart, filled with sweets and other goods, onto the B&D trawling compound on Port Royal Street in Kingston for storage yesterday afternoon, she had one aim: beating the 6 p.m. curfew. But she never made it home. Brown was struck and crushed by a Jamaica Urban Transit Company JUTC bus shortly before 5 p.m. The bus reportedly switched lanes before hitting Brown, who sells in the vicinity of the Digicel headquarters. Her body was reportedly dragged for meters before the unit stopped. The mother of 4, who had been bouncing about as investors bought up property in downtown Kingston, had long dreamt of building a home for her and her children, said son, 25-year-old Carl Robinson. That was main goal number 1. She has been moving around because of the whole downtown Kingston redevelopment, Robinson said yesterday. She was actually working towards buying one little piece of land or a little house. She said she was tired of moving up and down and to live among certain people. She didn't want to live comfortable. Distraught family members fought emotions as they confirmed the woman's death. She basically reached her destination and about returning, Kenisha Saunders, a cousin, said yesterday evening. The last conversation I had with her last night, she said she had tried coming in after 4 p.m. Brown had resided at 60 Hanover Street in Kingston, as some persons, including children, scampered to pick up items from the rubble that was left behind. Bystanders who claimed they knew her well said she had always requested another person to push the cart onto the compound in the evenings, but on Wednesday she had a last appointment with death. The Corporate Communications Unit of the Jamaica Constabulary Force confirmed the incident last night, but said very few details were available at the time. The police could not give any info on the condition of the bus driver. The state-owned bus company recorded a 19% decline in traffic crashes for financial year 2019-2020. The JUTC has also paid out in excess of $200 million in judgments and settlements for the period. In an email response early on Wednesday to a week-long request for information, Managing Director Paul Abrahams disclosed that his buses had been involved in 845 crashes over the period. For the previous year, there were 1,041 crashes. Since 2018, buses have been involved in at least 8 fatal crashes, resulting in the deaths of 4 motorists, 3 pedestrians, and 1 motorcyclist. The bus company said it was unable to offer a breakdown of payouts, including from insurance claims, saying that the categories of court judgments and settlements are inextricably linked and therefore cannot be separated. The JUTC also reported that there was no backlog of compensation owed for crash-related civil lawsuits or civil claims on insurance. Settlements of judgments are paid by us within a 2 or 3 week period. The insurance companies, when they are involved, also have a similar turnaround time for payment once there is no issue, Abrahams said. Brace for a spike. Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. Christopher Tufton is warning Jamaicans to brace for a spike in the number of novel coronavirus disease COVID-19 cases in the country. Up to yesterday, the island had recorded 252 cases of the disease, and health departments across the island are tracking more than 1,400 close contacts of these confirmed cases. And that number, 1,409, is a moving target, and it increases each hour, depending on the information and depending on the next confirmed case. And again, I think it is important that the public understands and appreciates that, because their input, their participation is so important, said Tufton. The health minister made the appeal yesterday as he confirmed that the number of positive COVID-19 cases has been increasing by double digits each day in recent times. The island recorded 90 new cases in the 24 hours ending yesterday evening, with 1 result still outstanding. 9 of these we just received information on, and we will provide additional information in terms of males and females. The other 10 we received earlier today. Of that 10, 2 are males, 8 are females, with ages ranging from 20 years to 50 years. 7 of the 10 are associated with the workplace cluster, Alorica. 2 cases are contacts of confirmed cases, and 1 is under investigation, said Tufton. He noted that there are now 131 confirmed cases related to Alorica, which had over 700 employees at the time the first case was confirmed there. Tufton also pointed out that the vast majority of confirmed cases from Alorica are females, with most living in St. Catherine, Kingston, and St. Andrew. There are now 34 imported cases, 53 contacts of a confirmed case, 8 that are local transmission with no epidemiological link, and 148 that are under investigation, said Tufton, as he pointed out that 2,125 samples have been tested, and Jamaica now has the capacity to increase the number of tests it does daily, with the commissioning of a COBA S 6800 machine, which can test 380 samples each 8-hour cycle. We should see quite a few hundreds samples tested over the next 24 hours, which could or may adjust the numbers of positive tests, warned Tufton. As we move into the phase of community transmission, it is going to require more from the public to control the COVID-19 public health threat, added Tufton, as he urged Jamaicans to follow the guidelines which have been announced. The health minister argued that Jamaica has done well in managing the COVID-19 crisis to date to minimize imported cases and delaying the community transmission of the virus, but cannot drop its guard. We want the Jamaican people to start adjusting their minds to what community transmission and what community spread is, what the implications are for them, for us in public health, what their roles need to be, what are the adjustments that are going to be necessary when we declare that we are now in community spread, said Tufton. He warned, too, that Jamaica will have to come to the reality of hospitalization versus home care when the virus begins to get widespread, as the modeling shows that of the many Jamaicans who will get COVID-19, the majority will not need hospital care. The question is, What does it mean for you to have COVID-19 and to be told to stay home until you get better? The dynamics of that are important to appreciate and understand, argued Tufton, as he again urged Jamaicans to tanner your yard. Some Ibex employees returned to work. A number of employees at Ibex Global have been allowed to return to work today after the government granted exemption to several of the accounts held by the business process outsourcing firm. Ibex disclosed on social media that 6 of its accounts have been deemed essential, which would allow employees to resume work at their Portmore, Waterfront, and New Kingston locations. During a press conference on Monday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness ordered the closure of all BPOs in the country for 14 days effective Wednesday. The announcement came after a spike in the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases linked to another call center, Alorica. During Monday's meeting, Holness stated that after consultation with the local BPO association, certain critical processes of the BPOs, which includes certain government agencies, would continue under strict management. The Office of the Prime Minister has confirmed that it has provided a list of exempt persons who are permitted to work despite the shutdown. According to Ibex, additional measures such as reduced capacity at locations have been put in place to ensure employees' safety. Employees who were already working from home should continue to do so, the company said. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember, subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.